Is this the Rookie CEO podcast?
Yeah, I think we're in the right place.
Oh, Hev, it's recording. This is Fuzz.
And I'm Hev, and you're listening to the Rookie CEO podcast. So today we have got Keeley back from Brisan, so thanks for joining us again. So we're going to talk today about dealing with late payments. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share, have you?
God. I'm confident, I would say 100% of our listeners, depending on how long they've been in business, have dealt with an awkward conversation about chasing an invoice. It's probably, maybe even if it's a day old, I do find it very disrespectful when an invoice is overdue, to be honest with you. But I've got invoices, even now, 90 days overdue. Yeah,
well, I had some that I just had to write off as bad debt because they were never coming. And like it gets to the point where you're like, I've got to just value my time here. And
should we let Keeley speak? I do feel like Keeley's not spoken yet.
You've got enough problems going on. Carry on.
Anyway, welcome, Keeley.
Thanks for having me.
You have recently posted about late payments.
Yes.
So you're the expert.
Yeah.
What is your biggest piece of advice?
I don't want to be, I guess, too
specific,
harsh on people because they're late payments for reasons. I think people then start reflecting on themselves, like, have I done something wrong? Why aren't they paying me? Obviously being proactive, we can't go back in time, but learn from it. So think about how you could prevent it in the future. So whether that's using a direct debit system, I think if you make it easier for your customers to pay, so whether that's via payment links, I find it quite annoying if I get an invoice and then, because everyone's on their phones now, you have to flip between different apps to then go pay. You then have to put in bank details. So if you think it's easier to pay.
No, I agree with that. Do you know what? When I use Go Cardless, which does take a fee, but I found when I enabled Go Cardless, I lose a little tiny percentage. I reduced my late payments probably by like 80% because people purely were paying late because they forget, or they're like, okay, like I'll do that later because they again don't want to flick between apps.
Yeah, it's going back to being lazy. We had an episode before.
And then people don't have to think about it. It comes out the same date every month, and actually it's better for your cash flow because on that date you're going to get the money come through every month.
And I'm sure everyone who is listening has been guilty of paying something late as well. So I know I had an incident where we paid someone late, they chased us. Now I don't do bank payments at Brisan, so I said, listen, if you can get me a credit card link, I'll do it right now. He came back and said, but credit card charges, they suck. I was like, but do you know what also sucks? Not getting paid. So and then he'd had to chase me, etc. And actually I was like, I'm happy if you want to throw the fee on top, I'll pay that as well. So there's a lot of thinking and just changing behaviours around that.
But you can like you say, like you could incorporate your costs. Okay, I'm gonna put like a 5% extra increase on all my costs because I know majority of my clients pay using a payment system which takes a percentage. So
you just factor it into your margins,
that's up to you to include that rather than make it more difficult for people.
But I don't think we've really spoken about, okay, when someone's late, what do you do? So it really depends on your approach and I guess the history of the client. So if it's a good client, I think a gentle reaching out. If you've got an accountant or bookkeeper or even an accounts email, an accounts persona, sometimes particularly if you're working on your own, it can be a bit awkward. So if you've gone and done some work for someone, you've spent a whole day shooting at their office and feels really disrespectful and it gets a bit personal. So if you've got someone else that can support you and do a little email, for me I think it's about showing good willing. So that person might not be paying you because they have cash flow issues, rather than they're just completely ignorant. So they're burying their head in the sand, but it's like, hey, listen, are you okay? Can we show some willing here? Like, can you make a payment? Do we need to pay in chunks? I then think it also comes down to boundaries as well, because if you let that creep in, suddenly, that person needs something, and you're providing them more services and they're still not paying you. So I think, just setting boundaries, being strict with it. If things do get really bad, if they get really late, you are entitled to charge interest and late payment fees. There are some rulings around that, so I just recommend checking up what you can and can't charge.
Obviously, it's part of your agreement anyway, isn't it? Where if you've made it very clear that there's going to be an interest, then perfect, happy days. But it's quite hard, I think, isn't it, to start charging an interest when they've not actually kind of agreed to any terms and conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some on HMRC's website, so there are by law, but obviously if you've got terms and conditions, make sure that that's covered in them. So
I guess if you're like, when you're offering a service, all you're kind of losing really is your time. So
time's valuable.
Like for how I would work would be kind of like, if it gets to a certain point, kind of services temporarily halt until they catch back up, because otherwise then they never can catch up. But 100%. I guess like with a product, would you maybe recommend getting a percentage of the payment up front, because to at least cover the cost of the materials and stuff?
Yeah, so if you need to order materials, I think it's reasonable to pay a deposit. I think there's certainly a lot of unease with people handing over big chunks of money for deposits. So if there's a solution around that, for example, perhaps that person can pay the supplier direct, so they know. So if you need a new kitchen or a bathroom or something, and then it all goes to them, and the materials are there, and you're not ripping them off. But I think it's completely fair, because otherwise you are funding that person's, whether that's their business or their lifestyle, because they're not paying you. Depending on what you do. I've spoken to some MSP tech IT companies who they switch off licenses. Who you think if your email's got switched off, you'd probably want to pay someone pretty quickly. For us, I've worked at firms before with persistent bad payers, and you get into the routine of, okay, a VAT return's due, well, we're not filing it until you pay us. Money comes in, but same thing happens again. So it's very frustrating. In the past, I think if you're in a luxury of picking and choosing what clients you work with, you can either tell them to go elsewhere, or just put your fees up significantly.
Hey Hev, have you heard of IT Managed Services? They're an IT support service based in Kent.
Yeah, I've been with them for over a year now. I love being able to just call them at any point and they take over my computer and fix the issue so much quicker than spending hours on Google.
Why have you kept that to yourself all this time? Right, I need to sign up to these guys. What's their website?
It's it-ms.co.uk, or you can call 01634 218 362.
We've tried that in the past, I think, both of us. Probably shouldn't be admitting it on the podcast. But what's a really good test there is to see whether you're undercharging. So you have this opportunity really to just go, well, actually, I want to do is go double my prices.
Yeah.
And then they end up going, that's absolutely fine, you're worth it. And you're like, that was not the plan, but it's good to know I'm worth it.
What would you kind of say to someone, like say that they're not paid you, you've done the work, they were happy with the work, but because they don't want to pay it, now there was an issue, they weren't happy with it, but this has come out of nowhere. In terms of like kind of accountancy kind of grounds, like where do they stand? Can they do anything about that, or is it?
Yeah, I guess it's difficult because people can end up, suddenly they owe you money, they've fallen off the face of the planet. So it's really difficult. If you want to go down a legal route, then that's an option, which, so for all our clients, we have terms and conditions and engagement in advance. So, you know, if we did go down a legal route, we'd certainly look to recover for any work we've done. But yeah, it does get to the point where you're like, this is costing everyone a lot of time. I'm not opposed to outsourcing for debt collection and credit control. There's some really good small businesses out there that, you know, you think about debt collection, you think of the old can't pay, take it away bailiffs. But
I used to love that program.
Yeah. So hopefully you don't see any of your clients on it, but there are people that are experts in going through that process and talking through.
Is it true though that it's mainly just bullying? That tactic is just bullying, really. They don't know how to do it.
I guess a legal bully. Some people are really good at it. There's a couple of businesses that we've worked with. One, you sort of pay a fixed fee and they'll go after it, and they're really good. There's one that's a no win, no fee. Which
they add the fee on top anyway, so you end up still getting money.
Which that I've seen some big successes. I was always a bit unsure about the whole no win, no fee thing, but I actually don't think it's sustainable as a business, because I think they do so much work up front before getting paid. And
from a client perspective, you think, are they going to put as much work into it? Because there's a risk there, rather than if they're going to get paid anyway, they're going to put all their work into it.
No, I'd say the other way around.
Oh, really?
I think if it's no win, no fee, they're probably going to work harder because they've got to work hard to get the money.
Incentive.
Whereas if they get a flat rate to start with,
there's
doesn't
two ways
matter.
to look at it.
Doesn't matter to them if they get it or not.
There's definitely two ways. It just depends on the business culture, I guess. But are there any debt collecting sort of businesses that you partner with as Brisan?
Yeah, so we have partnered with, I don't know if you know, from the networking scene, Tracy Westall of Petunia 2016.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they've done really well.
That really wasn't much of a shout out. I felt like that was more of a question.
That was more what, from me?
Yeah.
No, they've done really well for us. We have previously used Martin Kingman.
Okay.
He is brilliant. But the problem is when we tried paying him to do some debt collection, he's so well known and he's been used, so there's a lot of conflict. He was like, I've actually acted for these people before, and I'm like, and then we asked him again and he's like, no, I've acted for them as well. But having,
you can still just nudge him on the back and say, look guys,
and he did on one for us.
Nice.
He reached out to someone on LinkedIn for us and said, hey, you're below the belt here. And it did genuinely help us, and there are some good people that there are a lot of people that bad payers are,
this is not like an accountant specific, but just to both of you guys, what are your thoughts when people go on huge tirades about late payers on LinkedIn?
You mean like my recent post, or more extreme than that?
No,
when they name and shame,
and
they say this company owes me this amount of money.
Yeah,
I don't think go on a full tyrant.
The right platform for that personally. I see it more on Facebook because of a B2C point of view. So I do think a customer has the right to go, do not use this company. I've given them £10,000 and they've not done the work.
Yeah.
Or likewise, do not use this. Do not go to 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. I don't know why they've got Finding Nemo in my head. Do not use this address. They will not pay you. So don't clean their windows. Don't do their gardening or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree from that. But using LinkedIn from a B2B perspective, I just think it's really cheeky because you just don't know the full story, and it's going to impact an entire business rather than just someone getting their windows cleaned.
I also I agree with you to an extent on the Facebook thing. I really hate trial by social media because as much as these people might be in the wrong, you never know the other side of the story.
Yeah, there's always two sides.
And then there's the truth.
And absolutely. Yeah, and what we don't know we'll make up.
Yeah, I hate that when people pile on to stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost clickbait, isn't it? But I think because larger businesses, you've got Trustpilot, there's a big platform to see that feedback, whereas you don't really have that for small businesses so much. I guess there's obviously Google reviews, so that's why you get that B2C on Facebook. Everyone don't use this person, and I think because it's very personal. If you've been ripped off by someone, it hurts. Yeah, because you've done work or you've paid someone to do work, and I'm not very much.
I say this, but then I'm like, oh God, if it happened to me, would I go? Because I guess what you say is anything like that. When you're a small business owner, it feels like a personal attack.
Yeah,
it
but
feels like they
looks bad
deliberately
on
don't
you.
want to pay you.
It looks bad on you if you're digging a hole for another business. I think I would. There's loads of other ways around it, and you're just going to end up going. You're going to get comments going. Just use a debt collector. You see that on Facebook groups, don't you? You see like, oh, I saw this happen outside the shop, and then everyone's comment is, "Did you call the police?"
I think
Like,
it ends up going to the wrong people as well, because suddenly they're like, oh well, if that person stripped you off, I can do this service for you, or I'm a debt collector, and you're just putting the post out to the wrong people.
Yeah. But if we're going to summarise a 3-step plan then for somebody who has a late invoice that, you know, they've sent a friend email like 2 months late or whatever, what's the next 3 steps, would you say, for them?
So if you've already done the gentle reminder, you're going to pick up the phone. That might help. I find that people, well, they may screen your calls, but use a different number, call them, try and find out if your invoice is going to the right person, who's in charge of actually paying the invoice as well. Are there any issues? I think read up on what you can charge, and if you can recover some interest or late payment fees. And I'm going to end up going on to 3 or 4, but obviously potentially debt collection if you want to go down that route, or number 4, I think just setting boundaries for going forward. Make a decision: are you going to work with this person going forward?
Like, could you send like a 14-day notice to start adding on interest potentially?
Yeah, so you can send. There is a process, and I think that's why I'd recommend going down the speak to a proper debt collector, because they'll know the rules where you can do warnings, notices, and then you can do escalations. Okay. So there's experts in that field. We work with a lot of experts in that field, but we can certainly help you in the first stages and help you be proactive and set those boundaries for going forward. Is that you volunteering? Do you want to give out your email address? That's a no. That's a no. Maybe slide into Keeley's DMs. Slide into my DMs on LinkedIn. She can ignore those a lot easier. Well, okay, thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.